Listen, one of the things I have been asked about, you know, like from people who know me well enough to be able to ask the question, because like some people probably have asked the question in their head, right, but they've never actually said, like, Shireen, can I just ask you about this? When I found my new freedom, you know what I mean, when I took the muzzle off my face, literally and metaphorically speaking, and decided that every day I was going to speak my truth, I was going to give voice to my perspectives and my opinions, and, you know, take you all on the journey with my moods, because, you know, like, not every day I'm bright and breezy, like. But one of the things that I did quite deliberately, and I'm not going to lie to you, like, I did it and I was like, oh God, is make references to the Caribbean side of my culture. So I've always said, like, I'm British with Caribbean, very heavily influenced by the Caribbean culture from my mum's home country, which is Jamaica. And I like dabbled a little bit from music when I was in my teens, do you know what I mean? So when my aunties used to come down to my mum's, and like they used to bring the tapes because they were always in the club as well, and like my auntie used to slip me a mixtape and go, don't tell your mum, because, you know, reggae music and dancehall music, some of the lyrics my mum was not impressed with, so slackness, she used to say. And so I would like take the tape, so I got very into it from that point of view. And then when I went to university and started to embrace more of the Caribbean side, even though I was mixing with people from loads of different countries, it wasn't even about that, so I kind of cemented that. So now when I show up, because it's how I am, so if you see me at home or you hear me talking with my friends them, that's how I talk. And one of the things that's been mentioned time and time again is about code switching, right? So code switching in reference to black people is when we feel like we speak in a certain way when we're comfortable with, when we're with our friends and when we're with our family. But in a work setting or a professional setting, or when we're just around lots of white people, we correct our English and speak different tones, sometimes different words. Diction is more, what's the word? I'm not going to say on point, but you know what I mean. And so I, when in doing this, decided that when I felt it was necessary, so if it was on my spirit, I was going to just drop a little word, do you know what I mean, or a little phrase. Or if I see some people that I know who are also from the Caribbean or have Caribbean heritage, and they're using a certain phraseology, I know I can talk in patois and they will type back in patois, because realistically 4 months ago I would never have dreamed of doing that on social media, never mind on LinkedIn, do you know what I mean? So I started doing the comments. Then I was like, nah, listen, I've got things to say, so let me just make my comment. So I will put certain phrases like a top of a caption or whatever else it is. Somebody messaged me, no, you know, they were like genuinely curious, and they were like, Shireen, like, you put some of these posts, but like some of the words or the abbreviations that I don't really understand. Like, is that meant to mean something? Like, what did they say? Something like, is it like a code? Is it like a code? Like, you know what I mean? Is it like a code or something? And I was like, no, it's just like, you know, because don't forget, like, we can take it for granted. So if you know the lingo, even if you are not of the culture, do you know what I mean? You get used to hearing certain lingo, but if you're not around black people whatsoever, and you're not like catching up on YouTube with all sorts of stuff, then genuinely you will never have heard these phrases. So I'm not going to go into the phrases because I won't even be able to do it with a straight face. But the point I wanted to make is that it was deliberate, it was intentional, because I was tired of hiding that part of my heritage and my identity, and it is part and parcel of me. So I was like, look, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to represent all the different facets of me. And if I'm going to drop a phrase or a word, or if I'm going to reply back to a comment in patois because I know the other person is going to understand what I'm saying, I'm not doing that to exclude white people. I'm doing that to embrace my identity and my culture that for years I have felt I've not been able to bring to the table. So that is the importance for me. And I was talking to somebody else about this the other day. We were just saying, like, we're just hoping to live in a world, right? Imagine this. When you step into a boardroom, and you've got like people from like different nationalities and different cultures, right? And you know, like in every culture, no matter where you're from in the world, if you're vexed and somebody upsets you or somebody says something that you don't like, we all have our equivalent of how we're going to cuss. Everyone does, even British people. We have, so I can like cuss with it in English and in patois at the same time, and we all know. And we were saying, wouldn't it be nice to kind of step into a boardroom, right, and like have 20 different nationalities, and one person says something that nobody else appreciates, and then you literally just hear all the different languages and variations of cussing. Do you know what I mean? It's like equivalent to saying like, you know, I don't know, like fuck off or something in a professional context. I actually don't know who would swear in a professional context, but people do, right? And just like, that's when we know the diversity that we're talking about from that point of view, and this whole acceptance of individuals and their cultures, that you literally have just like all these different languages and different phrases, and you know, but everyone's doing their own version, and it's so normalized that nobody bats an eyelid. And you know, it's so funny because, like, you know, talk to me about like swearing or whatever, that's why I was like, oh my god. So I just thought it was such a, I know it seems really random, but such a beautiful picture that was created in my mind of basically people cussing around a table in loads of different languages because they look different, they are from different backgrounds, etc. And I guess fundamentally, when we get to pushing for the equality for black people and other marginalised groups, what we're actually saying is, if you put us aside, what we're actually saying is that the majority white does not have to be our standard of normal. It doesn't, you know. We can have white people, we can have black people, and within that we can have the different cultures and identities, because then we're not talking about as black people as one glob and white people as one glob, but we have other people coming in, and fundamentally that's what we're pushing for. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I just thought that was a nice little, you know, it's uplifting in a way, and I just hope like more people feel like they can bring their cultures and their identity at the forefront of who they are when they feel like it, because not everybody wears it all the time, but they don't have to worry and censor themselves. So yeah, that was me just sharing. Can you imagine the cussing around the table? Oh, I did laugh, but I can picture it. I think it would be amazing. Thank you, and I'll see you again tomorrow.